The woman extended her wings, hoping the doctor could help her remove them. The doctor explained, sudden weight loss could lead to such issues. It moved. A pair of conjoined twin sisters required separation surgery, a procedure with slim chances of success. Despite the daunting odds, the two were wheeled into the operating room. After marking the incision lines, the lead surgeon cut through the scalp, using instruments to meticulously separate the connected skulls of the twins. With the successful separation of neural connections, the sisters were finally split in two. As the reconstructive surgeon began suturing head wounds, a sudden and severe hemorrhage occurred. Swift measures were taken, but the elder sister's heartbeat ceased rapidly. Sensing her sister's departure, the younger one's blood pressure and heartbeat plummeted. Intensive efforts by the reconstructive surgeon gradually led to a recovery. Post-surgery, the younger sister remained in a profound coma, reliant on a ventilator to sustain life. Witnessing this, the mother, overwhelmed with grief, knew her daughter couldn't survive independently. Respecting their decision, the mother pleaded with the doctors to reunite the sisters once again, choosing to discontinue life support. A single X-ray gave the doctors the creeps. It showed a bunch of freakishly lifelike faces.
They'll do. I'll be damned. They're Judy's.
The doctors started thinking the patient might be some kind of super weirdo. At first, the docs shrugged it off, thinking the guy just had a weird eating habit. But pretty soon, they caught on that something was seriously off. No matter how much they probed, the guy wouldn't spill the beans about what he swallowed.
You have the most beautiful features.
Whatever you've ingested could kill you. Are you sure you don't want to tell me what's got you locked up inside?
To prevent his gut from going haywire, the doctors wasted no time scheduling surgery. But when they cut his belly,
Black Judy. Well, they gave her long hair back when she had the afro.
quickly, they kept yanking out one doll head after another, a whopping total of 11, filling up a whole basin. Surgery was a success. But do you have any idea why this guy pulled such a stunt? This little girl is quite extraordinary. She used a stapler to close up her wound. When the doc asked who messed with her,
I did!
Doc wasn't buying it, so she straight up yanked the staples out of her wound, and even bit them off.
There. Can I go now?
That didn't even hurt.
The girl glanced around, saw no one, motioned for the doc to lean in.
I have superpowers, okay?
Doc was even more baffled. Doc started thinking it might be some child abuse situation, but a black doc advised him not to jump to conclusions. She suggested doing a cold press test on the girl. Doc brought in a basin of ice water, but the little one thought it was overkill. Reluctantly, the doc joined her, putting his hand into the ice water. As time ticked away, their hands turned red from the cold, but the girl didn't bat an eye. Meanwhile, the doc wore a pained expression and couldn't help but pull his hand out. Turns out, the girl's got a condition where she can't feel pain, not a single bit. Just a sec ago, the doc was numbing up the girl's ear, fixing it up. Out of the blue, two dudes decide to start tossing a ball around in the emergency room. Doc gives them a warning, but nope, they toss that ball again. A paramedic does a quick spin, accidentally smacks the ball. The woman's ear gets shaved off right then and there. The doc's like,
Oh, God.
Doc's scrambling, telling a buddy to grab some bandages, but guess what? The buddy steps right on the fallen ear. And the poor girl? She loses it and lets out a scream then and there. A man with a knife stuck in his head remains remarkably composed, leaving the doctors in disbelief. The CT scan reveals the knife embedded entirely in his brain, making his survival nothing short of a miracle. Unaware of the severity, the man continues to crack jokes.
See?
To assess his condition further, the doctor poses a math question.
Okay, let's focus. Stuart, how much is 14 plus 4?
18.
Just as the doctor begins to realize the seriousness, a friend interjects.
No, actually, it's just because he's dumb.
As it turns out, this is within the normal range.
So why don't you just pull the thing out? Because we got a game to get.
The two friends then casually pull out beers to celebrate. After the lead surgeon examines the man, discussions revolve around the need to perform surgery. However, unbeknownst to everyone, the intoxicated friend, who had been gesturing with the knife, subtly takes action. While the group anxiously deliberates the surgical plan, the intoxicated friend miraculously and effortlessly pulls the knife out.
So, now can we get out of here?
A massive 800-pound tumor on the boy's face. He's been hopping around different hospitals for years, but no one had the guts to take on the surgery. Then, he ends up in the hospital where Dr. Grace works. But the head honcho and Grace ain't seeing eye to eye. The big boss wants to play it safe, cut out a bit, but Grace is having none of that. She calls out the boss for just caring about the hospital's rep. Cause if the surgery flops, they could be in for a lawsuit. Grace sticks to her guns and insists on chopping the whole dang tumor.
I'm not!
Harper Avery had everything. Except decency.
After a tricky operation, they manage to pull it off. To make the kid look normal again, they not only fix up the wonky bones, but also make sure the messed up skin matches perfectly. It's like some high-stakes puzzle, but they nail it. When the kid wakes up, he's not just got a brand spanking new face, he's got a whole new shot at life waiting for him. How did an 8-year-old girl get pregnant? The doctor is bewildered. Quickly, she's rushed into the delivery room for a thorough examination, and her condition is inquired about.
How far along are you?
10.
At this critical moment, the girl's mother is nowhere to be found. It turns out she abandoned the girl at the hospital and disappeared. The girl is in intense pain, and the ultrasound reveals no pregnancy. The relieved doctor discovers a large tumor in her abdomen.
Looks like a mass, and there's free fluid.
Immediate surgery is arranged. A football-sized tumor weighing 7 pounds is successfully removed. Outside the operating room, the mother arrives at the hospital. It turns out both she and the girl illegally immigrated. She pleads with the doctor not to publicize their situation. A man's hand caught in a meat grinder, the pain unbearable. As the doctor prepares to call the firefighters for the grinder's removal, a colleague steps in unwillingly.
We dropped a couple grand on that thing. You can't trash it.
He claims he can dismantle the machine without damage.
Can you do it in under 45 minutes?
Give or take.
Together, they work to disassemble the grinder. With each piece removed, the pressure on the man's arm lessens, blood flowing more freely. Thankfully, the duo doesn't disappoint the doctor. Soon, as the final piece is detached, the man's entire arm is revealed. The doctor instructs them to leave, assuring the rest is in his hands, extracting the arm, leaving the two in shock.
Holy God.
The surgery revealed severe thumb damage, deemed irreparable.
What are you looking at me for? Take my toe already. Take my left nut if it'll help.
With the patient's consent, the doctor successfully transplanted the man's toe to replace the thumb, achieving a successful outcome. The woman's facial disfigurement was devastatingly profound, and the doctors couldn't assure a complete restoration. Her emotions crumbled. She fervently pleaded with the doctor for a solution. 1 month later, she faced her first surgical intervention. The surgeon began by delicately incising the damaged left side of her face, followed by implanting a miniature steel plate to stabilize the muscles. Subsequent to the skin grafts, the meticulous stitching ensued. A week later, the doctor removed the final dressing. The woman can't wait to look into the mirror, only to find a more daunting visage than before the surgery. Witnessing her distress, the boyfriend feigned consolation, concealing an intense disdain within. Eventually, he decisively fled the hospital. Shortly afterward, he unexpectedly returned to escort her from the hospital, dropping the bombshell that he was preparing for marriage. Confronted with abandonment yet again, the woman felt an icy chill. Her sorrow gradually morphed into seething anger, and from her backpack, she retrieved a handgun,